Hello, and welcome to Relatively Crafty, a knitting podcast. I'm your host, Christy. I come to you from the Denver area of Colorado, where I live with my husband, Ron, our two daughters, Tatum and Delaney, our tuxedo kitty, Lilu, and our Podengo puppy, Sophie. Welcome. Uh, if you are looking for me on Ravelry, you can find me as Christy-Lael, and on Instagram, I am Christy Lael without the dash. I'll put the spellings for that down below. This is a knitting podcast, and I have to warn you, it's going to be a pretty sock heavy podcast this week. But y'all don't mind looking at socks, do you? Also, I'm trying out some new gadgets. I have a ring light that I am trying out. The only thing I don't like about it is that it causes glare in my glasses. I also have my other light that I normally use, which is also causing glare in my glasses because I had it. It's one of those studio lights, so it's got the umbrella thing. But with this new setup, I can't use the umbrella part. So I've taken the umbrella off. So now I have two light bulbs glaring in my glasses. And then I also got a microphone, which is plugged into my phone right now, and hopefully is making it a little bit better, a little bit easier to hear me. So hopefully all of that will help make this a better podcast. I've also taken down the shades, although it is not nearly as bright and sunny outside as it was when I podcast last time. But I did notice that the glare from the sun was pretty strong in the window last week, or last time I podcast. So I've brought down the shades. Not to worry, the dog will still come inside and look out that little bit of window that I have left. So you guys will still be able to see Sophie. I also may have a completely new or adjusted setup by the time I podcast next, because I've just found out from work that we're probably going to be working from home until the end of April. I kind of knew that we were going to be at home at least until the end of the year, but April, I'm an accountant, so our busy season is the first 4 months of the year. Uh, so um, so yeah, for them to say that they're gonna probably keep us remote or at less than a 50% in the office, um, then I need to set up a proper home office, because I've already been living. My office has been my dining room table since March 17th, and that has been an issue for more reasons than I can even express. Not the least of the fact that we can't use our our dining room table to eat, and then also my children are now. Colorado's numbers have gone up high enough so that they are now at 100% remote learning, which means that they need to be virtually in class themselves throughout the day. So I have meetings that are virtual, they have classes that are virtual, and while our internet is holding out really well, I'm really impressed with how well the internet is doing. Um, we need to be able to have like spots where we're not being interrupted by each other. So if I make this part of my office, then I can shut the door if I need to have a real meeting. And if the dog barks or if the kids make noise or whatever, it won't interrupt. Whereas I was at the dining room table, Tatum was in the breakfast nook, and Delaney is on the couch, and so we can hear each other all the time, and that's kind of obnoxious when you're trying to be professional. Also, that would give me an opportunity to spend more of my day in this room, which is my favorite room in the entire house for obvious reasons. I mean, I have all of my books and all of my yarn, all of my knitting stuff is in this room, and so I love this room. I love spending time in here, just kind of sitting around and looking at things and knitting and reading and whatnot. And so yeah, this I'm really okay with spending the rest of the day or every day just sitting in here and doing my work. So I have a desk now, but it is a desk that we got for the kids. And I took it out of their room. I repurposed it for this as a winding station. However, it is not a big enough desk for all the monitors that I have. I have my laptop and then I have two monitors to do my work, and so I'm going to be getting a bigger desk. I did pick up a new chair. You guys might notice you didn't hear it squeaking. So I have this lovely orange office chair, which makes me happy because it's orange and because it doesn't make any noise. And so I'm going to get a new desk, get everything up here, and so my recording setup may change because this closet that you guys are in will be my work office area. It's still my favorite room, but it is starting to get a little full again. I took the bed out and I was like, oh, I have all this space, and now, I'm going to be putting my whole office in here, so it's going to be a little bit different. A little bit less space. But that's okay because I'll be able to sit and knit and work amongst my yarn, which I'm sure will help the workflow. It'll keep my brain on task. I may have to set a rule for myself that I can't touch any yarn until I log off or something, because I may end up spending some time just staring at my yarn and picking out things that I want to knit next. Okay, so as I said, this is a knitting podcast, and it's going to be a sock heavy knitting podcast, but I do have one FO that is not a sock. And so I will show that to you guys first. This is my Hibernate blanket, which is a free pattern through Bernat's website, which I believe is called yarnspirations.com. I will link it down below, and I picked up all of those skeins of Bernat blanket last Black Friday. Was the day I picked them up, and it took me almost a full year to get this blanket done, but I have finished it. It's twice the size than I was expecting it to be. And when I originally planned on making it, it was just going to be a lap throw, but I kept deciding that there were more colors that I wanted to add to it, and so now it fits my queen size bed, and in fact that's where it lives. So it is if it goes back and forth from being laid out on the bed and then being folded at the foot of the bed. Both the cat and the dog think it is wonderful to lay on, even though it is loosely, it's a bulky blanket and it's loosely crocheted. It is still very, very warm. So there have been times when we have had it full out on the blanket. And we also have a comforter, a comforter or a duvet on our bed, and then a sheet. We have found that we get a little bit too warm. So on the nights when we know it's not going to be super cold outside, we do leave this folded up on the bed. At the foot of the bed, rather. So it's it's crocheted out of Bernat blanket in, I think I've got 7 different colors. The colorway names are on my project page, which will be linked in the FO section of my show notes. And so you can get the information there. But it is all Bernat blanket, and I believe that I crocheted it on a MN hook. I think that's it. And Bernat blanket is a Chanel yarn, so it is super soft and very nice to snuggle up with. Let me back up so you guys can see it, the whole thing. It's so big. yellow, and then I ended in gray. So, yeah, I've got the dark gray, and then the orange, and then I did this oatmeal and aqua, and then light gray and yellow, and then I ended in the dark gray again. And you can probably tell that I did a single crochet border in the dark gray all the way around. Now, I do not know if I did the single crochet border correctly, nor do I care. I did what I could do with it, and I think it looks fine. Um, yeah, I know that I didn't do the edges of the blanket the way that the pattern had originally called for, and part of that is because I'm not the best crocheter. I'm very new to it. Um, and part of it is because I got to a point where I just found something that worked for me to remember, something easy for me to remember, that kept the edges nice and straight, and I just went with that, not thinking that future Christy was going to have to do a border. So I did, like with the edges, when I did the border, I just kind of did something that worked, and it looks okay. A professional crocheter would probably look at it and go, "Well, this is all wrong," but it really is just something to sit on my bed and keep me warm. Something that the dog and cat can lay on in the middle of the day, and that's really all that it's for. So it works for that, and I feel okay about it. Okay, and now I have several more FOs, but they are all socks. We will start with the pair of socks that I actually made myself, all the way. Because if you follow me on Instagram, you know that there are several socks that are going to be showed today that I did not make all the way, that I only made some of them. But this pair is completely 100% knit by Christy, and that is this. I love how these turned out. This is Knitterly Things Vesper sock in the color Jingle All the Way, I believe. I have mentioned on several occasions that Knitterly Things Vesper sock is just about my favorite stripy dyer. No, I can't say that. Okay, let's say it's in the top 5. Definitely, and it's close to the top of the top 5. I really like the colors that she chooses, and she's been around for a long time. She's really, really good at what she does. Oops. This is part of my Christmas sock advent that I am doing for myself. I'm trying to knit 31 pairs of Christmas socks to wear every day in December. I am not going to get them all done before this December, but I do have enough to be able to do the advent. I will have 24, maybe 25 pairs done before Christmas Day, so I will be able to wear at least an advent to this year, and then I'll finish the rest later. So I did these with my normal recipe. This is a Turkish toe cast on. I did a true afterthought heel to keep the continuity of the stripe. And then I did 1x1 ribbing with Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. And this makes pair 23. So I have 23 pairs done. In my whips, I have pair number 24 and 25. So I'm close. I should be able to finish both pair 24 and 25 by the time that Christmas comes. So I will at least be able to wear them this year, as I said. Now, I was really looking forward to being in the office and being able to show my Christmas socks to my coworkers this year. However, as I've mentioned, I'm not going to be in the office this year, so instead, I was probably going to do this anyway, but I'm probably going to do like a Christmas sock of the day on Instagram and show you guys. You guys are the ones that really count and the ones that really care about my socks anyway. My coworkers are really supportive of my knitting habit, but they're not knitters, so they don't really care about hand knit socks. You guys, though, you guys care, so I'll be posting them on Instagram. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what hashtag I'm going to use, but it'd be something like Christmas sock of the day or something like that. And yeah, that'll you guys can see them and enjoy them with me. The rest of the socks that I have to show you, there are still several. They are all sock tubes that I have turned into socks. So all the heavy lifting, all the real work was done by Michelle. Michelle, who is Aptly Juice on Instagram and has the Aptly Juice shop on Etsy. She is a cranking wizard. If you follow her on Instagram, then you have seen that she posts some really cool stuff. She's been taking classes and teaching herself how to do great, amazing things with a circular sock machine. Really impressed with the stuff that she is creating. And then she also cranks tubes for commission and does just a fantastic job with it. So she is my go-to tube cranker. In fact, I finished all the ones that I had from her before, and I immediately ordered 3 more tubes and sent her the yarn. So she said she's going to be working on them this weekend, so she may actually be cranking my tubes right now as I am speaking, which is awesome. So I have, as I said, I finished all the ones that she had sent me from earlier. I kind of get into a heels and toes zone, and so that's what happened these past 2 weeks. I just wanted to make these into socks, so I took the tubes and I made them into socks and all I'm doing is adding heels and toes. I think 1 pair I added ribbing, and that's it, just heels and toes and the odd cuff. So you send her the skein. It's 100. You send her a 100 gram skein of sock yarn, and she cranks it into a super long tube, which could be a scarf all on its own. And then you cut in your heels, toes, and cuffs. I can get 2 pairs of socks out of each tube. Within reason, I can get 2 pairs of socks out of each tube using contrasting heels and toes colors. Cannot do that if I don't use contrasting heels and toes, just FYI. So like this pair that I'm going to show you first, this was actually a gift. I did my Advent mini swap last year. And I apologize. I've completely dropped the ball on that this year, and I'm feeling it. I'm kind of bummed out that I don't have an Advent swap to be able to open up every the first 24 or 25 days of December this year. But last year I did do it, and Michelle was one of my partners. I had 2, and Michelle and I opted to give each other a full skein on December 25th. She asked if I would like to have my skein cranked into a tube, and I said yes. And she actually did the cuffs on this one, so I didn't have to do cuffs. So it came in 2 pieces like this. This yarn is so pretty. It is... Oh, can you guys see that? There we go. Twin Mommy Creations. In her Cranberry Firewater colorway. So I will, of course, link her shop down below. But Twin Mommy Creations. And as I said, Michelle cranked them for me. So it came like this. I decided to kind of knit the toes and heels from the loose end. So I had the ribbing here, it was already done, and then it just went down in a tube and ended with live stitches. That was, I believe it was on waste yarn after that. So there was, the live stitches were actually waste yarn. So what I did is I cut in the stitches for the heel, put my needles in, and then took the waste yarn out and pulled the end and used that to knit the heel. So I knit the heel using the end. And then I did the measurement for where the toe would be, and I ripped back, put my needles in, ripped back, and then knit the toe. So I did have to then, of course, unknit some of the stuff that had been so expertly knitted by Michelle on her machine. But I do really like the way that these look with without contrasting heels and toes. I think that keeping it all uniform just really adds to this pair of socks. So, because of that, I only have one pair out of this skein. I only got this one pair. There was some left over, but not enough to really do much with. So I just have this pair, but they are gorgeous and I love them. I made sure to make the legs nice and long, so I will be able to really enjoy these this winter and many winters to come, I'm sure. So thank you again, Michelle, for not only the yarn present, but the cranking tube present for last Christmas. I really appreciate it. I'm glad I got to actually, utilize them, and I will be able to wear them now. In fact, one of the reasons why I am podcasting today is so that I can wear these socks before the end of November, because I really, really want to. And come December 1, I'm going to be wearing all the socks in my Christmas box, which is right there. Yeah. Okay, so then the other pairs I got 2 pairs of socks out of. And I think they are amazing. So I'm going to put, there's one pair is for me, and then one pair is for my daughter Delaney. Delaney loves hand knit socks. That's pretty much all she wears, except for in the hottest parts of the summer. And so I'm always happy to make them for her. So this is my pair. This yarn is Ren and Ollie. Ren and Ollie in the colorway Sweet Pea. And this is one that I sent to Michelle to turn into socks for me, or turn into a tube for me. I have a tub that I keep minis that are solids and leftover bits of sweaters, in figuring weight yarn that are solids that I use for heels, toes, and cuffs on socks like these. So I don't know exactly where these came from. There's a good possibility that they are Lolo Did It, because I have a lot of Lolo Did It left over from all of the Lolo Did It socks, the hippos for the holidays that I was doing for those 2 and 3 years. So I have a lot of those left over, and so it's possible that those are them, but I'm not sure. So I can't tell you the heels and toes colors for any of these, but they worked. I really like how they turned out with this colorway. And then this is Delaney's. As you can see, I'm getting some glare. As you can see, the socks that I make for Delaney are shorter than the socks that I make for me, because I make my pair to fit me and exactly how I like it, with the length of the cuff, the leg, and whatnot, and then whatever's left turns into socks for Delaney. So this is the shortest pair that she got. Sorry for the blowout. Goodness gracious. But I really like the way that they turned out. She picked this heel toe color. Actually, I do know what this is. This is Chasing Rabbits in indigo. This is left over from my dark water sweater. And it shouldn't actually be left over because I haven't finished my dark water sweater. But everything that I have left to knit on it is in the chartreuse color. So I felt like it was okay to put this in my leftover bits. And so that is those pairs. Next, I have 2 pairs in Andromeda sock. This yarn is Andromeda sock yarn in the colorway Warrior's Code. Yeah, the Warrior's Code. I love Andromeda sock yarn. I believe she's a local Colorado dyer. And so all of the ones that I've gotten have been from my local yarn shop, which is Colorful Yarns in Centennial. However, she does sell stuff on Instagram as well. And she is amazing in that she doesn't repeat colorways. So if you find something from Andromeda sock yarn that you like, you better grab it right then because chances are you're not going to see it ever again. So she does, like a batch of that color, and then that's it. So I grab them when I see them, and I like them. So this is Warrior Code, which is just a gorgeous. That is accurate to the colorway, and I used some brown for heels and toes for mine. For Delaney's, I used some light pink. I I don't know, and then I had just enough for one heel in this green that complements this, and then on the second sock I have a darker green. So um, she doesn't mind. So I went ahead and did that, and it used up the little bits that I had left of that. I need about 2 3/4 grams. Sorry, yeah, 2 3/4 grams for a heel or a toe. Um, so yeah, so I save them if I have about that much, and if I have anything less than that, then of course I throw it away. But yeah, that's what I've got for that pair. That's pairs 3 and 4, and then I've got one more set of pairs, and this is the final set of pairs there, and it is very interesting because you can see I almost got 2 full-sized socks out of this. I don't know if this was just a larger skein or what. It says it's only 100 grams, so I should have really only been able to get 2 pairs of socks, or like a pair and then a shorty pair. But this one, I guess, was a little bit more generous. I don't know. This is Teeny Button Studios in her soft sock base. The colorway is Critter Frolic. This was a collaboration kit that I had purchased a while back. It came with this this skein and then a bag from Whimsy Stitches that is on the wall. Actually, you might be able to see it. It's right there, that orange bottom, and then there's like a woodlands scene on it, and then there was also some stitch markers from something llama, the snarky llama. Ooh, whoa! I pulled that right out of my head. Hey, so anyway, I grabbed it because the skein was amazing, the bag was amazing, the stitch markers were amazing. So yeah, I went ahead and grabbed on that. And so I used this. This is Lolo did it in tourmaline, blue tourmaline, I believe, which I think complements this very well. And then with Delaney's, I used a slightly different blue and then a purple, like a brown leaning purple, which pulls out the purple in this very well, and that is a good representation of the color. So that is it. I now have 4 new pairs of socks to wear before the end of November, and Delaney has 3 new pairs of socks to wear. So we are both going to enjoy our new socks, and as I said, Michelle is working on the 3 skeins that I sent her. So I will have some more tubes here pretty soon, and we'll be able to then make some more socks in the new year. And like I said, Michelle she has an Etsy shop. She does this on commission. Her prices are very reasonable, and her service is amazing. I have bought sock tubes from a couple of people now, and Michelle is by and far the best that I have gotten. So highly recommend her services. that is all the FOs that I have. I do have a couple of whips. Surprise, surprise, some of them are socks. So I have a hoe. This is in this adorable bag that my aunt made me. I think this was one of my Christmas gifts last year. I don't think I've ever used it before now. I am a bit of a creature of habit, so I find one bag that I really like, and then I finish the pair of socks that are in there, and then I just put the new yarn in it and just keep going. And I forget that I should switch out. So I am trying to be more proactive about doing that. So this is a new one. I have to sneeze. Oh, I hate that when you have to sneeze and then it goes away. Um, as I said, this is a new one, and I absolutely love this. The colors are exactly me. These are my favorite colors. If anybody ever asks, or if you ever want to know, these are my favorite colors. This orange, this blue, this green, this yellow, this gray. I love these colors. Everything, you know what? It's everything from the kitchen from back when I was a little kid. I was born in the 70s, and you had harvest yellow and avocado green and what was the orange? Burnt orange, I think it was called, and yeah, and then the aqua or the teal. Yeah, they just make me happy. So this bag I absolutely love. I'm hoping that the white won't end up getting disgusting as I carry it around with me, because I do carry my stuff with me wherever I go, because I knit everywhere. We were at church yesterday because we do the Operation Christmas Child packages. We collect stuff as a church all year long, and then one time in November we have a kind of a get together, and we pack all the boxes. We take all the stuff that has been collected all year and we pack it in boxes and pray over it and send it. And so yesterday we had it, and I had brought this pair of socks with me, and I was just working on it as I was waiting for everything to get started. And some lady came up to me and she was like, "I was just amazed sitting there watching you. I didn't want to stare, but you were just knitting and not even looking at what you were knitting, and it was amazing." And I had to explain to her that when you knit every single day for 12 years, you don't have to look at your hands anymore. Anyway, it was kind of cool. And then I offered to teach her how to knit, so hopefully she'll take me up on that. But I do have a hoe. This is pair number 24 for my Christmas socks. This is Woolly Elephant. And I will say that before this week, these socks were in the Halloween bag that I had also gotten from Woolly Elephant, but now Halloween is over, so I had to switch it. But this is Woolly Elephant in Merry and Bright. So I did make a pair of socks that was out of the Merry and Bright mini set by the Woolly Elephant, which is a mother and daughter. They do they have a podcast, and they have a shop where they sell yarn and bags that are all gorgeous. So if you are in the UK, I highly recommend you check them out. If you are in the US, also, no matter where you are in the world, I highly recommend you check them out. But I will say that unfortunately the shipping to the US right now is pretty high. So those of you in the UK are just that much luckier, because you don't have to, you get to get their stuff, you get to get it quicker, and you get to get it for a little bit cheaper to ship. So anyway, she did a full skein. I needed it. She so generously shipped it to me for free. So I knew that they had to be made into Christmas socks for this year. And so I cast them on as soon as I possibly could. So I am using Nerd string in what is it called? Oh yeah, Dandy, Lion for the heels and toes, which is what I used for the cuff on the mini set that I had made. And by the way, the mini set came with 20 grams in green and 20 grams in red, and then 20 grams in this. So I did one sock where the foot was green, the other sock the foot was red, and then they melded into this with this gold as the ribbing, which you will see, and you did see when I showed them to you then. Anyway, sorry. So this first sock is done. I do have the second one going. Let's see if I can show it to you. You know, I never had allergies before as a young person, and now I have allergies, and I'm not okay with it. So I apologize that I am stuffed up. So here is the second sock. I've gotten about halfway through the foot, so these will definitely be finished before too long, and they will be making it into my advent for this year. I'm very excited about being able to wear these. We'll try to make sure that I podcast again before December 1 so that I can go through all of the socks with you guys if you'd like that. Yeah, because some of them I made in like 2018. I think there's 2 pairs on there that I made in 2018. Some of them I made last year. A lot of them I made this year. But next is my 25th pair of Christmas socks. It is in this bag, which doesn't have a tag, unfortunately, but it is really cute. It's perfect sock bag. It's covered in pet fur and lint and bits of yarn. But I like it because it's got, you remember the 80s snap bracelets? That's what's inside these. So I sometimes just spend a lot of time just doing that, which is really annoying. I apologize. This is this sock. I don't have very far. I just started it last night. This is Knitterly Things Vesper sock, and this is one of the few non-striping yarns that I have from her. Not that I don't want to have more from her, she doesn't put out a lot of them, and so, yeah. But this colorway is Grinchy Business. It was one that was in June. SimplySocks.com did a Christmas in July, so it was in July. And I picked up like 5 skeins of Christmas sock yarn. This was one of the ones that I got, and it came with a coordinating mini in this red, and then the sock is in green. Love it. Absolutely love it. I am definitely in that vein where I want my Christmas socks to be red and like traditional Christmas, red and green, some gold, some blue, that's fine, but red and green I want. So I will probably be picking up some more Christmas yarn this year, and maybe swapping out some of my less Christmassy socks for next year, because I know that there's going to be some amazing colorways that are going to come out this year that I'm going to want to have. And I already have 31 skeins of sock yarn, or, I have, 25 pairs of socks and then enough yarn to make 31 pairs of socks. So, yeah, I would have to sacrifice some in order to continue on. However, I'm pretty sure that I could probably start at like Thanksgiving. Or before, I could just like make it, my November 1 to January 1 socks. Or maybe even go into January, and then I could use all the blue ones, the icy ones. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea, actually. And knowing my luck, knowing me, I will probably end up knitting over the years like 365, and I will have a set set pair of socks to wear on certain days of the year, and that'll be it. And I will, never wear the same pair of socks twice. I probably won't get that bad. Let's hope not. Okay, I do have one more whip. It's actually another hoe, and it is not Christmas yarn. I decided that I just really wanted to. I think it has to do with the sock tubes. It's like it was really nice not to knit Christmas yarn. So I picked out a skein, gave myself permission to pick out a skein of non-Christmas yarn and just knit that. And so I did. This is the yarn that I got. Well, let me see. This is the bag that I'm using. This is another one knit by, or sewn by my aunt. It is an autumn bag, obviously, and it also has woodland creatures. I really, really love woodland creatures. So yeah, and again, it is in some of my favorite colors. So these kind of bags just make me super happy. The yarn that I am using is Jelly Beans yarn in her iridescent colorway, and I loved it in the skein, which looked like this. It's gorgeous. I also love it knit up because it's pulling so neat. Isn't that great? I absolutely love when a yarn pulls really well. Don't get me wrong. I love them when they don't pull as well. To pulling, non-pulling, whatever, it makes me happy. But it's often the goal to get a non-pulling yarn, and so you kind of miss out on pulling sometimes. So it made me really happy when I saw that this was going to pull like this. So you might notice that I had a spiral thing going on here. This is because up until from here to here, I start with 12 stitches, and then get up to 30. 30 on each needle, so 60 total. And then I get to about halfway through the foot, and then I increase 4 more stitches so that I do the rest of the sock with 64 stitches. And I do that because my arch is high, but I hate to have the sock saggy on my toes. So 60 stitches to about midfoot, and then I do 64 for the rest of the sock. So that's why you have that adjustment right there. And I just really love the way that it turned out. I do have the second one started, but it is just a little toe. So hopefully I'll have that finished. I'm sure I'll have it finished before I podcast next. I'm kind of in sock mode. You might have noticed. So I will probably get all 3 of these socks finished before I podcast next time. And then I have one more FO. This one is not an FO. I have one more whip. This is not a socks, not a pair of socks. It is also not something you've seen before, because why would I work on... Oh, you guys can't see, but right there is a cedar chest. Right there is a cedar chest. On the cedar chest is 4 project bags. 4 project bags that are filled with whips or UFOs at this point. 2 of them are sweaters that need to be knit. I'm not going to work on them. Why would I work on them? Sweaters that need to be knit because I would love to be able to wear them right now. But I'm still not going to work on them. I'm going to cast on a new sweater because that's what we do as knitters. There is also a blanket in there, and a shawl, that wingspan shawl that has kind of been set aside because it takes a lot of brain power that I don't have. Oh, also, this is not even in a bag, but right there, that is the second sleeve for the 8-bit cowl that is over and done with, and I still haven't finished the second sleeve. That right there, that is the first sleeve. That is done. Have the whole body. All of that yarn right there, that gray, and then those right there, that's the rest of the yarn for the 8-bit that I still haven't finished. And then those 3 skeins, those are Christmas skeins for Christmas socks. This is how Christy's brain works. Here is the other whip that I have. This is in my Hala bag. I love this bag. Look, it has all of my favorite colors. Are you sensing a theme? It also has some uh, enamel pins that I have picked up over the years. These are from Book of the Month. I'm a big Book of the Month fan. And then I've got Make, Wear, Mend, and I've got The Book Was Better, and I've got Go Away. Go Away, I'm knitting. Oh, and then on this side, I have Lolo Did It, and Sock Talk from, there we go, Sock Talk from the Grocery Girls. I have a butterfly because it was pretty. I have a Lord of the Rings book, and then I have the Black Knight from Monty Python, because it's just a flesh wound. So that is the only place that I have enamel pins. Those are the only enamel pins that I have. Okay, in here I have my Camaro sweater, point 2. Because you might recall, I knit a Camaro sweater. It looks like this. At the beginning of summer. But I had planned on knitting it to a different size. I didn't check gauge because why would I do that? I'm not responsible. And it ended up where it fit me just right. Just right, like it fits me perfectly. Perfectly. But I wanted one to have some negative ease. I wanted it to fit a smaller person, and so I decided at that point to make it a short-sleeved, cropped sweater, which I wear it and I really enjoy it. And I used about half of the yarn, so I decided to make another one. I bought a couple of extra colors for stripes and decided to make a second one similar but not the same as the first. So here is Camaro version 2. This one, this purpley mauve color, and then this dark gray down here. Those are the 2 new colors. And what I am going to do is, it's going to be a full-sized, full-length sweater. I am going to do stripes all the way down the sleeves, instead of just having it in the yoke the way that the pattern calls for. So I've gone through one repeat, and we'll go through a second one at least, and then the body will be in this color, which is blowing out so much, sorry, which is just a beautiful ochre yellow. But the sleeves will be all striped like this. And so I've been working on it. It's such a fun pattern. This is the Camaro sweater by Tennis Lavalley of Tennis Fiber Arts. Really, really enjoyed working on it. The stripes make it very enjoyable, and when you finish with the stripes, you do a whole short row section, which also is very enjoyable. So I highly recommend this pattern. It is super, super fun. I have some new yarn to show you, and part of that is also a wishful project, or a project in the future, planned project. I am going to knit the Irma hat. I don't know why I pulled this up, because it's just the pattern. It's a free pattern, but the Irma hat looks like this. I am going to knit it out of this. It's so pretty. This, I went to the Loopy U. Y'all, I went to the Loopy U. I have bought online from the Loopy U for ages and ages, and moved to Colorado 4 years ago, and discovered after I'd moved here that the Loopy U is actually fairly local. It's in Fort Collins, which is about an hour and a half from where I'm at. But for some reason I could never make it up there. It's hard to get my non-knitting family and friends to trek an hour and a half to go to a yarn shop. But I happened to be out there with a knitting friend, and so we were close enough to be able to make a little detour. And so I picked up this skein of Dream in Color with cashmere. Dream in Color Smushy with cashmere. Yeah, Smushy cashmere. Dream in Color. And this is a Loopy U exclusive colorway. It's called The Nights Grow Longer. It's a beautiful autumn colorway. And so I am going to knit it into the Arma hat I showed you. And I am going to hold it double because the Arma hat calls for a DK. This is fingering with cashmere. It's a 70% merino, 20% cashmere, 10% nylon. Super soft. And because it's fingering weight, I'm going to hold it double and make the Irma hat. And I think that's going to keep it from I think it's going to keep the stuff very mottled. Well, I won't get any pooling, which is what I want in this case. I love pooling in socks. I don't want it in this hat. I don't know how to justify myself. While I was at the Loopy U, I also picked up these two skeins. These are gorgeous. These are Julie Spins, and they are 50-gram skeins. I originally picked them up to make shorty socks because I can make a pair of Rose City Roller type socks out of a 50-gram skein for myself. But I have to say they do work really well together, and so I'm kind of wondering if I should put them together in like a brioche, like a handkerchief cowl or something like that. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. But this one is called Habanero, and it's orange with some pink bits. This one is called Gooseberry, and it is green with some purple bits. They're both beautiful. So I will do something with them. And then I also got my two mini subscriptions that I subscribe to. So the first one is row 1, where you get 10-gram minis from different indie dyer each month. And it is she calls it her Carnival of Color set. And so each month it's a different indie dyer, and you get 10 minis from them. 10-gram minis. So you're getting a full skein's worth. This month was Buku Yarns, Buku, and her colorways are named after songs. So like Wild Horses. This one is She's My Baby. They're very pretty. More solid and semi-solid. This one is called Suede Head. Love it. And then you get a stitch marker that coincides with whatever the yarn was. So the first month I got it was like cornbread and honey, so there was a bee stitch marker. Last month was something, and but she dyed her colorways to from different apple varieties names, and so there was an apple stitch marker. This one is a music note. So there's that. And then I also got my Leading Men Fiber Arts kit, not kit, but mini set. I'm in their cast of characters subscription, which you get 5 20-gram minis every month, and they're doing all of their colorways in alphabetical order. So this is what I got. This actually just came today. So we've got Dirty Truce, Don't Be a Karen, Don't You Know, Don't Fear the Reaper, and Double Your Pleasure. So we're in the D's. And yeah, that is all. That's it. That's all the new stuff that I got. Yeah, so I guess that is the end of it. I'll go ahead and let you guys go. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and and happy knitting, and show each other love, huh? I know that we've been, like, the nation has been going through a lot. The world has been going through a lot with 2020, and with all the election stuff that's been going on. I just want everybody to remember to show love. I posted on Facebook that the old adage, "What would Jesus do?" I think that it is, while it may seem trite, it is really a good remembrance for us to live, use in our own lives. So if you show love, if everybody shows love, then everybody will only get love, and it's not that hard to do. So try to remember to show love. That's what I'm trying to do. It's not always the easiest thing, but I am trying, and I will keep trying. So God bless you all. Bye.